Am I your psychiatrist, or are we simply having conversations?
Yes, I think is the answer to that.
Then having a glass of wine before seeing a patient, I assure you, is very conventional.
You know what? Things are good. Most people get all angry about going to work, the grind, just living for the weekend and all that. Not me. Nope. I enjoy what I do. Yeah, contributing, the only
One
way
of
I
them
know how.
reads blood spatter for a living. The other reads people. If Dexter Morgan and Hannibal Lecter ever hunted each other, only one of them walks away. Here's who, and exactly why. This isn't about who's scarier. Both of these men have killed for years without getting caught. The real question is, what happens if their methods actually collide? Dexter's forensic precision against Hannibal's genius-level manipulation. To answer that, we're breaking down three things: what each of them is actually good at, what happens the moment they notice each other, and whose weakness gets exploited first. Start with what Dexter actually has going for him. He's spent his entire adult life reading crime scenes for Miami Metro, which means almost nobody alive builds or reads a scene better than he does. Every kill follows the code. Research the target for weeks, confirm guilt beyond doubt, then execute a plan built to leave nothing behind. He drugs targets before they can resist, restrains them on a table built for exactly this purpose, and disposes of remains at sea in pieces small enough to never resurface. That's not improvisation. It's a system refined over 100+ kills without a single conviction against him. And Dexter's real specialty isn't killing, it's hunting killers specifically. He spent years learning how people like Hannibal think, plan, and hide, because that's literally his hunting ground. If anyone in this matchup already knows how to build a case against someone who's evaded law enforcement for decades, it's him. Now, Hannibal. Where Dexter is a specialist, Hannibal is closer to a weapon with no real ceiling. Genius-level intellect, trained surgeon, forensic psychiatrist by profession. Which means understanding disturbed minds isn't a hobby for him, it's his actual job description. He operated as a killer for decades, while sitting across from law enforcement, criminal profilers, and other psychiatrists, and none of them caught him until he let them.
Hannibal! Where's Chuck?
The pantry. I was hoping you and I wouldn't have to say goodbye. Nothing seen, no said. You may have found that route.
Stop!
He's also not just a mind. Physically, Hannibal has consistently been shown able to overpower multiple people at once, using precision rather than brute force, a surgeon's understanding of exactly where the human body fails. And his real weapon isn't the knife, it's patience. Hannibal thinks in years, not weeks. He can sit inside a relationship with someone, learning every weakness, long before he ever shows his hand. So how does this actually play out? Dexter's method requires surveillance, weeks of quietly watching a target before he acts. That's a serious problem against someone like Hannibal, who has spent his entire career reading people for a living and noticing exactly when he's being watched. A forensic psychiatrist who studies criminal behavior professionally is about the worst possible person to try to quietly stalk. If Dexter ever gets close enough to interact with Hannibal directly, even just to observe him, to get inside his orbit, that's Hannibal's actual specialty taking over. He doesn't need to catch Dexter mid-kill. He just needs one real conversation to start reading him. The compartmentalization, the rehearsed emotional responses, the exact kind of controlled performance Dexter's used to fool an entire police department. Hannibal spots performed humanity for a living. Dexter's mask, the thing that's worked on everyone else in his life, is exactly the kind of thing Hannibal is built to see straight through. Dexter's one real advantage is distance. If he never engages Hannibal directly and instead works the case the way he'd build one on any other target, combing evidence, working backward through method and pattern the way only someone with his specific forensic background could, he could theoretically build a case and strike before Hannibal ever knows he's a target. That's the one version of this where Dexter wins, pure hunter, never getting close enough to become the subject of Hannibal's read. But that's also exactly where Dexter's real weakness shows up. His code depends on emotional attachments. Deb, his family, the constant need to protect the people around his double life. Hannibal has made an entire career out of finding that kind of leverage in people and using it. Everyone he's ever gotten close to, he's found the one thread that unravels them. Dexter's family isn't a strength in this matchup. It's the first thing Hannibal would go looking for. So who wins? If this turns into any kind of direct, sustained contact, a relationship, a conversation, anything that gives Hannibal time to actually read him, Hannibal wins. Not through force first, but by finding the exact leverage point in Dexter's life and turning it before Dexter even realizes he's being studied. Genius-level pattern recognition and decades of professional practice reading dangerous minds beats a code built to work on people who don't know they're being hunted. The only path where Dexter comes out on top is the one where he never lets it get personal. Full forensic hunter mode, working the evidence, striking once, without ever giving Hannibal the chance to get inside his head. Which, honestly, tells you everything about why Hannibal's the more dangerous one of the two. Dexter only wins by refusing to play Hannibal's game at all. Who do you think actually wins this one? Drop your case in the comments, and let me know who you want breaking down next.